if I traded it all, if I gave it.
Welcome back, everyone. My next guest has been on with me once before. I have with me Michael Bennett, and he is the owner of Park Grove Lending. Is it
Correct.
Park Grove? And welcome back to the show. You know, I know you can do almost anything. You're here to talk a little bit about something. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what we're going to talk about today.
Sure. So my name is Mike Bennett. I own Park Grove Lending. I've been in the mortgage business 20 plus years, and I actually got started in reverse mortgage helping my grandmother before I was licensed, and she needed a loan, and it was one of those things that she had gone through all of her life savings, and she had a home that was free and clear, and that was it. She had 3 bouts of cancer, and that just drained all of her assets. So what we did was we looked into reverse mortgage, and it turned out to be, actually changed her life. It was fantastic. And so I thought, wow, that was really neat how that worked. And then life just happened, and later on I got back into mortgages, and so reverse mortgage has kind of been our focus since then.
Yeah, I mean, you want to remind a little bit, people a little bit about them. Let me say this, okay, right away. Listen to this, because they're not what they used to be. And I know we talked about it before.
Right.
I was successful. My father had one. And sometimes they're needed, and they're way different than they ever were. And if mine was successful, and that was how long ago, 3 or 4 years ago,
right,
or whatever it was, tell them a little bit about what's going on today.
Sure, absolutely. So a reverse mortgage really, in its simplest forms, is nothing more than a government-insured loan, FHA loan, that has a no payment feature. That's all it is. So it's a mortgage that you never have to make a mortgage payment on. Now, the qualifier is you still have to make your homeowner's insurance and your real estate taxes, just like you would if your home was free and clear. But really, at the simplest point, that's all a reverse mortgage is.
Well, okay, but there's so much that is different, because so many people out there. When you said to me, when I call people and say, you want to talk about a reverse mortgage? You want to talk about, what do they say?
Oh yeah. Oh well, I don't want to do that. The bank owns my house, or I'm not interested in that. That's I'm not selling my house to the bank. I hear that a lot, and those are misconceptions that have evolved over time. I mean, this product started in the late '60s in Seattle, and it was started by a small company. And really, what they were trying to do was they were trying to take equity from seniors, and they started as a reverse mortgage, so they would give you money. You didn't have to make a payment, right? But the lender owned 50% of the appreciation in your house. Mm-hmm. So if your home went from $100,000 to $200,000, they own 50% or $50,000 worth of that growth. And so what they started doing was forcing borrowers to go into foreclosure so that they could take their 50%. And that's where it got, the bank owns my home. There are a bunch of shysters that do this loan. And that's where it got its initial thought. And a lot of people have just thought, it's bad, and that's it. And that's what they knew about the loan. Well, HUD actually stepped in on this loan as a direct result of people being taken advantage of. HUD stepped in and said, no, stop. We are not doing this. We're going to manage this loan, and this is how we're going to protect people going forward. And since then, it's an entirely different product.
Now, you're also going to offer free appraisals for everybody.
Sure.
Let's talk about that before I lose my voice.
Yeah, sure. So anybody that calls, we do free consultations with everybody. So, but as an incentive, sometimes people want to, what's in it for me? What's in it for you is a free appraisal. So if you call me, if we work through the details, if you decide that this is something that works for you, I'll pay for your appraisal. That's something that the big companies won't do. It's one of the benefits of owning the company, right, that I'm able to do that. And I want to share that wealth with my borrowers.
Now, the phone number to call you is 480-227-3238. He does free consultations. You could check him out on his website. It's parkgrovelending.com. Don't turn away just because we're talking about this. Don't. Because it's really important. And like I said, I mean, my father did it. He needed it. There's people that need it. And
right.
and you really don't know until sometimes you look at it was like my mother passed.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, that Social Security went away.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
And then all of a sudden he was looking at things and went, I'm not sure if I can do this on my own. And that's when, they talked to somebody and they said, then he's in California. He was in California.
Right.
But anyway, we're live on Facebook, so I want to say hi to everybody out there.
Hi,
So
everybody.
Like us and follow us and listen to all this stuff too. You guys can call in. I know we're going to be sharing these things after the show later on. And so once we do that, you can do it too. And I know you've had a lot of people that have, you want to talk that for 1 second? Tell them about that,
Sure.
what you've had,
Yeah.
your experience with Facebook with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've republished this on our own site, which we're called Friends in Finance in Facebook, and you can just Google it or you can just Facebook search us for Park Grove Lending, and you'll find the repost on there. But we've had a lot of engagement, a lot of interactions. A lot of people have saw the presentation and called and said, well, gosh, that's really not what, it's not what I thought it was. And I wanted to circle back for a real quick second on a point that you made. It's like, this loan isn't just a loan of need. Right. And so one of the things I want to talk about today, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but is for people, I have wealthy clients. I have people that are intelligent, financially savvy people that use this reverse mortgage.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Right. And I think there's a lot of things that when you understand the nuts and bolts, then you start to realize, oh, this is what we can do with this. Right. It's not just, my aunt's eating cat food. She doesn't have any money. So now all of a sudden we got to get a reverse mortgage. So while it does serve that purpose, it does serve the financially needy, it also is much more.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Go ahead. When you say, first of all, how's it work?
Well, so the bottom line is, here's one of the benefits of getting older, is the older you are, the more money you get from this reverse mortgage. All right. So HUD has a formula that they use, and there's 3 factors. One is the youngest borrower's age. So you can do husband and wife. I also have single borrowers, and I have borrowers that are not married but that cohabitate. All right. So whoever the youngest borrower is, it's their age. All right. It's the value of the home. And it is whether you choose a fixed rate or an adjustable rate loan. And that's why you really can't, there's not a general rule of thumb that we can say. Every single loan is different because it's like ordering a hamburger. Some people like cheese and some people don't. So you just have to tell me what you want, share your details, then I lay out your options, and then you get to pick the best one for you.
He does free consultations. His phone number, it's 480-227-3238. It's parkgrovelending.com, and he'll do a free appraisal. Give him a call, do the consultation, and find out what he can do for you. Everybody's story is different.
Sure. So and that's my cell phone. I want everybody to know when you pick up that phone and you call, you're talking to me. I own the company. I don't have people that answer the phone. When you call, you have questions. Give me the honest information. I'll give you the honest answer.
And tell him how long you've been doing this too.
So we've been doing this 20 years. I've been in the business just over 20 years. We also do forward mortgages. We do commercial loans. So if I'm licensed in Arizona. If there's a mortgage loan out there, I can do it. I have a team that focuses on the forward side, and I focus on the reverse side. It's just, I love this loan. It changes people's lives, and I'm just passionate about it. And so just trying to get the word out.
480-227-3238. Park Grover Lending. Grove Lending. I said Grover. Right. So parkgrovelending.com. Okay. So want to talk about, for the people that, can use it for other purposes.
Certainly. Yeah, so one of the important things is to realize that at the end of the day, all this is a source of money. We talk about maybe contributing your trapped equity if you have a home that's free and clear. But one of the things to talk about today is, let's say we've got borrowers that they're in their marital residence. They've raised their kids in the house. They're older. It's just too large for them, or it's in a cold climate, right? So anybody that's not listening in Arizona, some of the other locations, you want to relocate to Arizona, you want to get near your family, this loan can help you do that. And so basically what we look at is the HECM loan for purchase. So say you own a $200,000 house in Iowa, all right, and it's free and clear, and you want to buy a house in Arizona. Well, when you move, traditionally, you're not going to want to replace, if you've got a home that's free and clear, you're not going to want another mortgage payment. Totally get it. It's that stage of life where you want to, cash is king. So most people look at taking their money from their residence that they sell and then just simply putting it down on the next house. So if you earn, let's say you have $200,000 cash, you move to Arizona, you're looking to buy a $200,000 house. Okay, that's fine, and you can do that, and you can pay cash for it, and you never have a mortgage payment. However, if you're financially savvy, You come to me, you talk to a realtor that I work with, or any other realtor. I can educate anybody. By the way, realtors, if you happen to be listening, this is a fantastic tool for you to double your annual commission, right? So I'll show you how that works. Just feel free to give me the same call, 480-227-3238. Beat you to it. But anyway, so that lady comes from Iowa, let's say, with $200,000 cash, and she wants to buy a $200,000 house, but let's say she can't find anything that she really likes for $200,000. They're more. So what happens is she contacts me, gets a reverse mortgage. We work through the details, but for the purpose of this example, let's say the borrower has to put 50% down. So she wants to buy a $300,000 house, not a $200,000 house. Well, she can't do it because she doesn't have $300,000. So she comes to me, we get a reverse mortgage, she puts down $150,000, 50% of the purchase price. I give her a reverse mortgage for 50% of the purchase price, $150,000. So at the end of the day, she walks away with a $300,000 home, and it only cost her $150,000, less than she was planning to spend. So it's a great
amazing.
tool. Yeah.
It is a great tool. So there's so many different ways that you can use this for. It's not just for
Right.
something that you need. There's a lot of different ways. That's why it's different. So give him a call. That phone number again, it's 480-227-3238. It's parkgrovelending.com. We'll be back in just a minute.
If I traded it all.
We're talking with Michael Bennett, and he is the owner of Park Grove Lending. And we've been talking a little bit reverse mortgages and what they're all about. So different. I know we were talking about, how to use it for something other than whether you needed it if you're older. Go
Right.
ahead. I know you want to kind of circle back to some of so go ahead.
Yeah, so the purpose of coming on the show today is just to talk about how to use it to purchase a house, right? I have a lot of clients recently that they want to downsize, or they want to move, or they just don't need as big a house as they're in currently. So they're stuck with a quandary of, what do I do? Pay cash for the house, that kind of thing. And that's what most people do, is they end up just buying a smaller house, paying cash for it. But utilizing a reverse mortgage really helps them leverage that cash. And that's really what it's about. So people who are listening may bristle a little bit at the word leverage, right? Because in the latter stages of your life, the last thing you think about is you want to leverage things. But when you look at, it's leveraging the cash that you have that you could pay for cash for a house. You could do that. But why would you? Because I can get you more house for the same amount of money down. Or what most of my people select is they're not trying to grandstand. They're not trying to buy a much bigger house. What they're trying to do is they're trying to keep as much cash as they can, right? So let's say, I had a lady just very recently, her husband passed away, left her a little bit of life insurance, but he didn't leave her enough life insurance to pay off all of the debts and buy a new house. And they were living in a 2-story home, and she was older and she couldn't navigate the stairs. So she needed to purchase something different. So they came to us. She only had $110,000. And the realtor, I've worked with her before, and she said, Mike, there's nothing we can do to find Mary a house that works for her. So what can you help us out with on a reverse mortgage? So I talked to Mary. I figured out what her goals and needs were, and really what we ended up with was we found a house that she only had $110,000. So in her mind, she thought, I've got to buy something for $110,000. Well, what we ended up with was a really nice single-family home, single story, for $180,000. She was beyond excited when we crunched the numbers. Now, she was older. She's 80. She was 82 at the time. She ended up only having to put down $84,000 of the $180,000 purchase price, and I put the difference down in a reverse mortgage. So she's able to save. She put $84,000 down. She kept what's the number? What is that? 84 to 1? $24,000 in the bank.
Right.
Cash
for anything that she might need.
Right. And she still got into the house, and she got a much better house, and now she's got cash. She was willing to spend all of it, but she didn't have to.
But I want to make my clear on this one, because she owned her own house clear out and outright?
Right.
Because she did. Okay,
Right.
I just want to make sure, because
They
I know
did.
that you had said, isn't that one of the prerequisites?
No,
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There is a formula, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but there's a formula that HUD uses to determine how much money they'll give you. Whether you're what we talked about last time was a borrower that had a home, right, like your father's situation. He just needed to convert some of that home equity into cash for himself, right, in a reverse mortgage. It's the exact same thing to do that versus buying another house. So let's say a home that, in Mary's case, is that they had the home that was free and clear, and after they settled all the debts, she only ended up with $110,000. So his life insurance plus the proceeds from the sale of the home paid off everything and left her just a little bit of money. So that was really where we needed that. So
you do free consultations. You also offer for everybody a free appraisal when you work with them.
Sure.
And it's really all about just a conversation right now. And I think that's what's really important is that everybody has a different story. There's different things that you need it for. You don't have to necessarily be in trouble. You don't have to necessarily be old.
Right. Well, you have to at least be 62.
Well, 62 is not old.
I didn't say that. You said it.
I just turned 60, so almost soon.
Yeah.
So please.
Well, I'm 54, so I'm approaching that. But it's one of those things that 62 today isn't old.
Exactly, but also different people are living with people. One's a little bit older, one's a little bit younger.
Right.
So that everybody has different situations.
That's exactly right.
Again, they do free consultations. Their number it's 480-227-3238, and they're going to do a free appraisal for you. But right now, just talk to them, find out a little bit about it. It's parkgrovelending.com.
I would say one of the important things is that people are hesitant to pick up that phone and make that first phone call, right? So I'm a nice guy. I simply want to know your story. I will treat you like I treated my grandmother. That's my guiding principle. I was born and raised in the Midwest, so I have a great Midwestern work ethic, but I'm not a strong arm kind of a person. If it isn't right for you, I'll tell you it's not right. In fact, I won't do it for you, right? So it's important to pick up the phone and find out from the professional. Your friends or your uncle that did it or somebody that you heard about it did it and it was a nightmare. Listen, you're only getting half the story and probably not the right half. So pick up the phone, call for yourself, and let's find out if it works. I mean, HUD, look, this program is designed, it's got built-in protections. Okay? So when HUD took the program over, they went into it and they said, listen, here's what we want to do. We want to make certain that these people are not taken advantage of. So every single budget year, HUD reviews the program details, the reverse mortgage program details. And they look at that and they say, how much money are we going to allow the borrowers to get out of this loan? So they evaluate that. And then they also evaluate how much equity is left in the house for the borrower. Because they're not trying to allow you to strip all the cash out. They want to give you the maximum cash possible while still maintaining that balance of you retaining equity in the home for the rest of your life. All right. However, in those circumstances where you may end up owing more on the loan than what you could sell your home for, let's go back to 2008 when home values took a dive, right? So if you happen to owe more on a reverse than your home could be sold for, here's the great thing. HUD has that built-in protection. It's called a non-recourse loan. They will never charge you more than what you can sell your house for, period. So even if you owed $400,000 and you could sell your house for $100,000, HUD eats the difference. You and your estate will never pay that difference. It's a huge protection.
That number to call them, it's 480-227-3238. And I think you're right. People are funny about this, but the more they hear you, the better it is so that they hear it over and over and over.
Right.
And I like the way that you are, in terms of how you speak. You obviously know this. You've been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
And you're here just to give information to them. And, whether it works for you or not, that you're never going to know unless you find out and talk to them, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think ultimately, whether you're trying to use this, and I do have some financial planners that they refer clients over, and we'll talk about that next month on ways that you can use this for a financial planning tool, there's some really, really powerful things in there. But the bottom line is every single person is different. Every single need is different, and you're not going to know whether it's a benefit for you until you pick up the phone and call.
The number again is 480-227-3238. They do free consultations, and in the end, he's going to give you a free appraisal.
That's right.
Okay. Let's talk about something we were talking before, and we wanted to circle back, and now I don't know which ones we are. So please tell me again what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think ultimately the bottom line today was just an awareness that use your assets in a leveraged position to maximize your personal benefit, right? Cash is king today. Cash is king. I want you to keep as much cash as you possibly can in the bank. And it just does not make sense today to pay cash for a house. Because if you need money, if you've got some sort of an emergency or some sort of an unexpected expense, you can't easily convert that equity in the house into cash. You just can't do it. So let's start right up front. And let's put less money in the house, more money in your bank. That's the bottom line. Just leverage your cash for your benefit instead of letting it just sit there in equity.
That phone number to call again, it's 480-227-3238. They do free consultations. That website, it's parkgrovelending.com. With your website, I mean, do you have a lot of information on there too?
Sure.
Because, they have questions.
Right. So one of the cool things is, without ever calling me, if you're bashful and you don't, whatever, that's fine. Go to my website, parkgrovelending.com. In the middle of the screen, there's a green button. The green button says reverse. Click on the green button and it'll ask you 6 questions. What's your name? What's your birthday? It's month and year is what it is. What's the value of the house, and do you owe anything on your property? That's it. Fill out those things, and then my calculator will crunch how much you can get. And they'll right there on the very next page, there'll be a thank you video of me saying thanks very much, and it'll tell you, you can get $148,000 tax-free. Now, that's a conservative amount because I build in closing costs. I make it conservative because I don't want you to, think, oh my gosh, and then you call me and I say, yeah, I can get you less. But they can go self-serve right now. The families can go do that on the behalf of their parents if they want to do it. And it's a very good way to start. So if you're using it for a reverse for purchase, okay, then put I owe 0 in my mortgage, and that'll give you the maximum amount of money that you can qualify for, and that's how much your down payment will be.
And all of those instructions are on the website?
Sure, you bet.
Because you got to make it easy. They're
Right.
62.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've got 80-year-olds that'll go to the website and be able to do it. So that's good.
Anybody can do it. That's what I meant.
Sure.
Okay. Again, so it's parkgrovelending.com. They do free consultations. That number, it's 480-227-3238.